Hello, I'm Bert Oliver, and welcome to Bowie News and Views. And my co-producer, John Rouse, retired.
Yes.
Well, please introduce our guest, John.
I don't know who he is.
Oh, I'll tell you, John Henry King.
I know that. The city's guru of economic development, according to some.
I wore the wrong hat to portray the guru.
Yeah, that's true. You could have maybe wore one of those gnome hats. That would have been very good. But seriously, John Henry King is in charge of keeping his eye out on economics, economic development for our ballooning city, ever growing. Nothing like the humble little place that I moved to 40 years ago. Were you here then?
I was not.
That's too bad. How long have you been here?
Since 2001.
That's all?
That's all. Just a short 8 years.
Oh, my. Well, anyway, why don't you, if you would be so kind of define what you do for the city?
John, as you said, I'm the Economic Development Director.
Define it. What do you do?
I'm the guy who looks out for the business community. Okay. I mean, we've got a lot of city staffs focused on the needs of the residents, the homeowners, the visitors. What the Economic Development Director does is look for the needs of the business and for the commercial properties that provide a location for the business. So I look at the retail centers, I look at the office centers, I look at the flex properties. If we had manufacturing, I'd be looking at that too, but we don't have manufacturing properties.
Well, go get us some.
There. We don't have a place for them.
No, that's too bad. I better get a job.
You know, I have, since you mentioned the manufacturing thing, John Henry, at the Melford properties off Highway 3.
Yes.
In about next door to John's home. Isn't there some rumbling about some type manufacturer going in there, a high-tech manufacturer? You haven't heard anything?
No, but I mean, in high-tech business, I mean, it's different than manufacturing as we might remember. In fact, think back to old Bowie.
Yeah.
You've been here a long time. You remember there was a New England steel fabricating shop right next to the railroad tracks, and there was a cement plant right next to the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
That's very manufacturing oriented.
Yeah.
What you might see out at Melford at the Science and Tech Park is somebody doing smaller scale repairing of electronic equipment or designing and fabricating a model electronic device of some kind.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And those kinds of things we can certainly have here in Bowie, and at the Science and Tech Center would be a great place for them.
Yeah, encouraged too. What about that, since you mentioned old Bowie, what about all that property, was commercial property there? What do you see happening there, where the steel company was? Is it functioning for anything now?
Well, very interesting. The cement plant is no more, and it was removed completely. The ground was purchased by a construction company, which uses the area for a construction equipment yard and their headquarters offices. The old New England steel plant is currently not in heavy use. It's got some temporary tenants in there while its owner is looking for someone else to take it over. Interestingly enough, we've had a couple of small manufacturers, yard products, fencing, uses that would be compatible with the zoning up there. Come take a look at it. No deals yet. And in fact, that's the story of Bowie and the economy right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
2008, things have slowed down. Good businesses have said, we're going to stop our plans for expansion until we figure out what's going on. Businesses that need money have said, no, we're not going to borrow right now. And the lenders, for their part, those that are lending have really changed and tightened up their rules for lending, which, in looking at the history of the last couple of years, is probably a good thing.
Yeah, true.
But it slows down expansion and relocation.
Well, Hilltop is expanding like mad with some very reputable companies.
It's doing very well. What we're seeing is, in part, some deals that were struck before the market collapsed, and companies just going right ahead with plans they had made because they were far enough along that it made no sense to stop. Yeah. And others who are looking at the economy and saying, no, it's coming back. We think it's hit the bottom. We're ready to get out there and begin making money. And you see success. Aldi's, which is a German firm operating here in the U.S.
It operates all over Europe. My wife and I used to shop at Aldi's in Edinburgh.
See,
years ago.
It's well known outside the U.S.
Yeah.
Here, it's been very successful elsewhere. Extremely successful right now at Hilltop.
Yeah.
Same with My Organic Market.
Yeah.
Mom's. That's, in a sense, that's a local grocery store. The gentleman who founded it grew up in Bowie.
I didn't know that.
He moved on, and as he grew his chain over in Montgomery County, he responded to a letter that Mayor Robinson wrote a couple of years ago saying, hey, we'd like you to come take a look at Bowie. We've got several locations. He did. And he liked the Hilltop location best. He's there.
Yeah, I did not know he was from Bowie. We should get him on.
You should.
Yeah. And you know, I think he started the first store at College Park.
He may have.
And I think he was at Maryland as a student there at one time. I'm not sure of that story, but I do know his first store was there.
It's a good store. I love it.
As you know, I worked with the economic development people over there about the change in the Route 1 and all.
That's right.
And they never mentioned an organic store at the time because they were talking about plans and promoting that area. And a residential situation there is mostly retail during school days, and it dies down later in a lot of the retail. But he put his first store there, John, I understand, and he'd be a great guest.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I think particularly that entrepreneurship is probably what we're going to see happen more and more.
If it weren't for the cakery in the old days, I probably would go to the Hilltop about twice a year. But the cakery got me in there. And then the old Bowie Inn used to be a big attraction. That was before your time.
I've heard great stories about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be, John Henry, the meeting place for the city council people.
Yeah.
After they'd have a council meeting, that's where you'd find them in many years.
It's in a certain club of our acquaintance, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we did a few visits there. I understand the owner of that original Bowie Inn had
He passed away in
Passed
Florida.
away.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. They are doing so well. And then we have Marketplace, which, you know, I don't see much reason for even going there. And also the Bowie Plaza with that empty grocery store. One shopping center can attract two fantastic grocery stores. That thing has been empty for years. What's going on?
Well, let's turn back the clock for a moment.
Okay.
I got here in May of 2001.
Okay.
And the retail scene could be described as curiosity and some excitement because Bowie Town Center was about to open.
Yeah.
But the older centers in the South, Pointer Ridge Shopping Center, was at the end of its life.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Sure.
It had a grocery store, but it looked unloved, unmaintained. Hilltop.
Yeah.
Hilltop was clearly ready for facelift and redevelopment, but it had most of its stores occupied. Free State was an enclosed mall with a Sears that was about to move to that new Bowie Town Center.
Yeah.
And Marketplace was almost a ghost town. I think it had the grocery store, the ice cream store, the parcel store, and the Chinese takeout.
Yeah.
Bowie Plaza still had a small giant and was doing fairly well.
Yeah.
Now we crank the clock ahead. It's 2010. Pointer Ridge, new owner, gave it a facelift, didn't replace the grocery store that left, but did fill the space. Mm-hmm. It's a healthy looking center right now, and it looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. Bowie Town Center, the dream, opened.
Yeah.
In fact, it's been open almost 10 years,
Yeah.
and it's doing reasonably well.
Yeah.
Bowie Plaza. Let's come back to Bowie Plaza in a minute. Hilltop went through a bit of a decline as they let some of the smaller tenants go in preparation for their redevelopment. We can see that redevelopment today. Brought in Aldi's that replaced Magruder's, brought in Mom's, My Organic Market, built a larger dollar store, which seems to be doing even greater business than the smaller one did.
Yeah, it's doing very well.
A lot of nice shops coming in there. You already had a scoop here on a previous program about a new restaurant coming in.
Not only that, we're also going to get a very reputable national drugstore chain in there. What is it called?
You're beginning in Walgreens.
Walgreens,
In fact, you've seen a lot of physical change there. First, they built a brand new pad, moved the Bank of America up to a brand new building.